Alright, hey guys, welcome back to another week of day trading where this week was, honestly, pretty slow. We did come off a pretty bad week last week with me messing up two of my setups and just entering them too early. So my main focus for this week was just developing my knowledge on narrative a bit more, understanding where I can realistically take my setups. But since we are still learning, we didn't really perform the best this week, so let's not delay any longer. I'll just get straight into the setups. Alrighty boys, first day back on the charts, and right now the high tone does look pretty juicy with a 4-hour support holding price up, and we do also have a wick sweep on the hourly, so that added on to price continuing higher. The low tone was looking the opposite though, with price looking like we could continue lower from the support level over here, and since there is this unalignment, I do want to be a bit more patient and wait, because clearly price does need more time to develop, so I am just going to give it its time to do its thing. But while I was waiting for price to cook, we got this fat drop lower out of nowhere. Don't ask me where, because I genuinely don't know where this came from. It was looking a bit crazy at this point as the retest into the high timer support was really strong, but if we did start stalling, perhaps we could catch a reversal going higher since there is some new imbalances that are unfilled right now, or we could just bust lower. Yeah, that is okay. But I'm sorry to do it to you guys. I did end up walking here. It may seem a bit out of the blue as I did all the prep for this trade today, but at that moment I genuinely wasn't feeling my best, more on the mental side, and I did reflect and write down my thoughts, and after doing that I knew that I wasn't in the right headspace to trade, and because of that I did close the charts today for a pretty boring Monday. I don't know. I think it's more of the right play in the end though. We did end up getting that reversal that I thought of, but the confirmations for the setup weren't the best, especially with these wick rejections before the pump higher. I would have more likely avoided this move and walked the day here, to be honest, so I guess it's alright. I mean, who knows what could have happened had I traded with my emotions though. So I do think that this is the better decision, and it's the decision that the best version of myself would have made too, so it's alright. Okay, so next day we are getting held up by a 4-hour support yet again. The price honestly does not look that clean today. The low tone wasn't any better either. The only thing I really saw was this 15-minute sweep of the low, which does align with that 4-hour support from earlier. But honestly, this price action is not the best. I do want to give it some time to do its things because I don't have an inkling of an idea of where price could go. But before we even got to market open, we got this juicy dump lower, which I didn't really like to see since volume was being used up a bit earlier. But this could also provide us some direction for where price wanted to run. But we did recover clearly just before market open, so it seemed that it was just another fake out. And market open was hella strong too, with the charts literally freezing, which I don't think that was very nice. But we did just keep on dumping lower and lower, and we did gain some footing with us stalling a bit after taking out the London lows. But honestly, with that much volume being used up earlier, I don't really have that much confidence in price running higher unless it takes like 10 years. And because of that, I did walk today to end off another uneventful day. And we did end up getting the reversal set up after forming a sweep on the 15-minute in the end, which is alright. I did walk, so I did let that opportunity go away, so perhaps I could stick around to see in the future, because this was something that I was possibly lining up that could happen, and I did psych myself out of it. But yeah, that's alright. Just save myself the mental capital, which I reckon is just as important. Alrighty, so looking at today, we do seem to be pretty bullish from what I saw. We do have this 4-hour sweep of the high, which is going against that bullish right there, but we were maintaining bullish structure throughout the entire day, and we do have this hourly support here as well. Looking at the low time frame, we also have a 15-minute sweep of the low, and we did just form a new 5-minute imbalance, which we are currently retesting. So if we do get clean displacement from this 5-minute order block, I'll take this setup without hesitation. And low-key, I did find my setup pretty quickly today. The price retested the 5-minute order block pretty quick, and then the next 5-minute candle form was a pretty clean form, which did create a new imbalance, and from there I did decide to take the setup since I was pretty confident in my read. And this trade ran so slowly, bro, I can't even lie. I initially intend to take a smaller trade since we do have some bearish signs too, like that 4-hour sweep from earlier. Maybe we could only get a push up for a little bit, and we did get this nice pop higher initially, which I did top up contracts from, and I trailed my stop loss as well, and we did just consistently push higher, which was looking pretty clean until we got this smack down. And this was lucky a bit scary because it was right before market open and it was starting to not look as clean, but then we got a pump higher, which saved the whole trade. Really juicy setup today, which was just perfectly A+. Even though the shift on the 1-minute wasn't as clean for my entry, the 5-minute had developed a clean candle, which I was happy taking the setup off of. And the sweep into reversal is something that I've seen quite often while backtesting, so it's something that I was just more confident in taking today. So it's what happened yesterday too. I just didn't stay on long enough to be able to see it. That's right though, I'm happy with the patience and with how I managed to set up today. Okay, first day seems to be pretty clean with us getting a consistent push lower throughout the entire day. We did end up sweeping the lows just before, and we do seem pretty overextended to the downside, so right now narrative is pointing me more towards a in the moment long. We do have a nice hourly gap conveniently, which is also at the premium of the range, and low time was building up more structure to go long as well. We ended up sweeping the lows on the 30-minute, and we also developed a clean support, which price does look to want to retest, so I just want to wait and see if we back up this idea. But we did end up getting a push higher, which made me think we would just continue pushing up before we got a pullback. But just before market open, price got smacked down hard, and this ended up forming a new wick on the 1 minute, which was really clean. Honestly, I was thinking of just entering when that wick formed because I was pretty confident in this read, but I did end up waiting just a bit longer as I wanted some more confirmation, and after price got this 1 minute shift, I did decide to take my setup there. But as soon as we entered, volume really died out. We started bouncing again, but that was smacked down really quick. Price was just struggling to continue with that reversal, which I would say is fair. We filled the hourly gap already, so we definitely could just push lower, but I would be surprised if price just continues low. Okay, with the setup today, I was pretty happy with taking this. The setup was pretty nice with that reversal signature, and honestly, I could have taken the setup from the initial sweep on the 1 minute. I just hesitated, which ended up giving me a later entry, and I could have honestly judged that the setup wasn't clean after price pushed so heavily to the buy side, since I knew that it was a more fragile trade with bearish confluences on the high time frame. But it's alright, and this is how I continue to improve, and yeah, I'm just taking it as a lesson to lock in even more on market narrative, especially in the moment. Alrighty boys, so we're looking at Friday today. We're doing a little backtesting session because I'm pretty bad on the news that was present on Friday. We had these three. I think these three specific ones I do perform pretty bad on, so yeah, I just decided to avoid it. But yeah, looking at the high time frame coming into the session, it looked pretty bullish, I would say. We had the strong bullish response, and we had a wick off of the low as well, so it's a pretty clean soup. Onto the hourly, we had a bit more of a sell structure with this order block here, and then a soup off the high, and then we failed to sweep this low as well, so we could maybe look to see that get swept out, which we did get just before market open. We took out Asia low, and then we created this new 15-minute order block. But honestly, with this power, I would still be expecting a reversal. I think the body form did go past the low, so it was a pretty strong form. Zooming in even more, like we had a really weak buying response on market open, and that formed a wick, so that wasn't really the cleanest reversal signature, and this would have shown more of a continuation day instead, where this retest, maybe you could have taken retest and then seen probably a 1 minute shift off of that. Let's see. Yeah, you would have gotten a strong response and then just an immediate inverse over here, and then you could have entered down here targeting 1-to-1 or whatever you want to target. But honestly, like for me and my model, at least for where I am currently with my skill, continuations for me are a bit harder to catch, so I just prefer taking reversal signatures much more. So because of that, I try to target those and avoid continuations, and then I'll just try to backtest continuations a bit more. And this is something that I can use to improve my narrative, because obviously like high time frame looked very bullish from initial looks, and then I think from the low not being swept out, and then the low time frame was starting to form more bodies lower down, and we got a strong shift past these lows into a retest of the gaps on the low time frame, and then a continuation lower. I could have gone for a continuation there. But otherwise, yeah, it was a pretty, I think for me it wouldn't have been the cleanest, but still, like, this is something that is tradable. I just need to improve my skill with reading narrative, and if I do, then yeah, this is a day that would realistically be tradable. Alrighty boys, that's all for this week. Pretty slow week, as obviously you guys could see. I definitely think that this read on narrative has improved quite a bit the past week, which is also due to my backtesting that I'm doing in the background. It's definitely had an effect on me, you know, just giving me more confidence to execute and read how price could run. And I know that there's still more that I can learn with narrative, like with Thursday. I know I could have adjusted my read after we fulfilled the target criteria narrative was going for initially, and from there I could have avoided trading and just hit the hay or something, you know, something that could help me recover my mental energy. But yeah guys, honestly, with how price was acting recently, the performance ain't too bad in my opinion. It's just been a struggle the past few months, but I reckon we could continue growing. Just gotta keep on being consistent and showing up each and every day, you know, actually putting in the effort each day too, so everything will fall into place. But yeah, I'm just gonna leave it there for this week, so thank you guys so much for watching. If you guys did enjoy, then don't forget to like and sub if you guys are into that, and yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace.